Well, greetings everybody. Here it is, 2021, the end of April, a beautiful spring day. My name is David Winter.
I'm Barbara Winter. We're related.
We're related somehow or another. You are at Stinging Nettle Acre and also home of Barbara Special Teas. Today we're going to be talking about garlic. Here is the garlic that my wife and I planted last year in October 23rd. I prepared the soil back in September, and because of some surgery I had, I was not able to kneel down to plant it, but my dear wife planted all this beautiful garlic for our family and also for the public market. Now, I have 3 varieties of garlic that I'm growing here. I got Georgia Fire, I got Italian garlic, and I also have German Red. And they're all what they call a hard neck garlic. And generally, that's the type of garlic you want to grow in western New York because of our colder climate. And generally, that's when you want to plant your hard neck garlics, is in October after the 15th. I have planted garlic on this property as late as a week before Thanksgiving because circumstances wouldn't allow us to get it in any earlier, and it did just fine. But generally in the middle of October, and why that is the soil still has some warmth to it. When you plant the garlic, it has a chance to root out before winter sets in. Why do you plant it in the fall, and why can't you plant hardneck garlic in the summertime? Hardneck garlic especially has to have a cold period before it will start growing in the springtime. It starts to grow before that cold period, but then when it goes dormant, it goes through that process so that it will enable it to grow and come. This garlic here was part of this garlic here that's growing right now that I will be harvesting in July. But this was set aside for us to eat. So what do you do? So you take it and you break it apart, just like that. And then I just break them all up into the different cloves. And everybody knows, see, here's one already starting to sprout out, you know. But it's still a good healthy eating plant, and there's 2 cloves right here. Sometimes I do plant a double clove and I get a double one, and that's okay also. But basically here's a clove that was from all this. And generally you get about anywhere between 8 to 10 cloves out of a bulb of garlic the size that I was holding. Always remember the root side goes down, and you can tell the root side because it has already like little roots, or when you're pulling it apart, you know that where the roots were. And the pointy side up, there's a point to this garlic, always the pointy side up. 4 inches apart, 2 inches deep. And make sure your soil has been well composted, dug up real well, and also make sure that it's in an area where you're not getting the soil is always sopping wet. Although garlic likes wet feet, they grow better with wet feet than they do with a dry type of soil. But all those things are very important. And after you put it in the ground at 2 inches deep, remember, pointy side up, root side down, you cover it up, and then after you get the whole bed planted, then notice, look how thick down that is. I have a lot of coverage on there. I put straw down, and then I put pine needles. They love pine needles. The acid in the pine needles is one of the best things, as well as straw or leaves. Chopped up leaves is also very good, but put a very thick, heavy coat of composting material on top like this. Now, one thing I'll be doing very shortly, and I'll only do it once, And you only have to do it once. You don't want to do it no more than that. I will be fertilizing this crop of garlic this year. I use a fish emulsive like a 1-1-1, and that's generally pretty much all you need. Usually like the end of April, 1st of May when it starts warming up. Before we harvest, there's one last thing that this crop gives you that is wonderful, and that is scapes. Scapes is that tube that grows up like that, and it curls around a couple of times, and it has a flower on the end of it like a little seed pod. Well, that's the garlic trying to reproduce and make more garlics down the road. Those scapes are delicious, but they need to be cut off because they take power away from the bulb growing big. So you want to make sure that you get those cut off at a certain size. And of course at the public market we sell scapes when they come in. People seem to love them. There's all kinds of recipes for scapes. We usually just chop them up and saute them and put them in either our soups or our stews, or you could, when you do scrambled eggs, you could put them in your scrambled eggs, things like that. They're delicious. They're a mild, they're a mild form of the taste of garlic. That's something to remember about with garlic. Other than that, you wait for them to mature, you cut the scapes off, and then at that point, you wait for that time of harvest. And that's a tricky one. You gotta look at them and make sure that they're not growing anymore. And the way you do that is by looking at the bottom leaves of the garlic. They'll start turning brown. Now remember, this garlic will be about this high by the time July rolls around. And you know, they'll be going through this process of looking really green and healthy. Then you'll notice they're starting to look a little sickly. What's going on? Well, they're starting to die. You know, it's gone through its natural process of what a garlic does. And when these bottom leaves start browning out and the others start browning out, that's the time to pull them. If you pull them too soon, you will notice that this skin here that's on a garlic, you see this nice paper skin, had actually disappeared and all the cloves are exposed. So there is a trick to harvesting garlic when it comes to that. If you pull it and all the skin is gone, this white skin is gone, missing, and all the cloves are exposed, well, you waited too long for them in the garden. So there's a little bit of a trick to that, but it's not bad. Just observation. Keep testing them out. When I first started growing garlic, I would take one here or there and pull it to see where I was at, just to learn. Generally, I do not wash the bulbs off at all. I just shake off the dirt. I'll lay them out on the ground and let them dry out, and then shake off whatever excess of dirt's on them. And there still will be some. Then I'll take them and I'll bunch them up like 10 to 12 garlics per bunch. I have this tie string that I tie them up, and then I got hanging racks in my garage. I hang them up there on the ceiling because it's real warm up there, you know, in the summertime because the heat's up there and everything. And I let them hang there, and I put a fan on them to help dry them. And in about 2 weeks, the leaves are totally bone dry and real crisp. You know, they'll crunch when you squeeze them. And I take them down, cut off all the leaves, cut the stem down like this, and cut the roots off to a stub. And then I pack them away on our racks that we have in our basement, and separate the good ones that we want to plant the following year, and the ones we want to eat, and the ones we want to sell at the market.
Now that you know how to grow garlic, you need to know what to do with it and what benefit is it to you. And I'm sure most people know that garlic is really good for health, but garlic is one of those foods that is considered to be a superfood, and that means that it It's good for a lot of different things, and we herbalists call it adaptogens. Most people know that you can take garlic for colds and in the flus because it's a good antibacterial and antiviral. But there's a lot of other things that garlic is also good for. Garlic reduces hypertension, it's good for diabetes, it's good for bone health, and it's good for just a general immune building of your system so that you can be healthy. Now, you can take it for something or you can take it to prevent something. And since we ourselves have a lot of garlic, I eat a lot of garlic, mostly for me it's prevention. It's good for healing open wounds. Do you have a clove of garlic that you can open up and put on a little wound that you have? It helps to heal that and boost your immunity. That's why it's good for your colds and your flus. Now, as for the COVID flu, I would not, it's good for building your immune system, but please listen to the scientists and the doctors when it comes to something as serious as that, because please, friends, that is very serious. Thank you for joining us. We will be in the Jamestown Public Market, and you will find our booth under Barbara's Specialties. We are selling teas. When garlic comes in, we will be selling garlic. Please buy lots of fresh garlic. It's really good for you.
And generally our garlic comes in at the end of July, 1st of August. But before that, remember the one surprise bonus you get off of garlic is scapes. And generally that's like at the end of June into the first week of July sometime. So remember those scapes. They're great. We hope to see you at the market. We hope this encourages others to plant garlic because it's one of the best things you can do.